chocolate chip cookies. So classic, so delicious, so incredibly high in carbs and sugars. But as usual, I have found a way to cut the carbs and find more flavor. There are so many more products on the market today for low carbers and diabetics. Things like sweeteners made by Splenda, or no sugar added baking chips, and of course alternative flours. Get creative and experiment. Let's make some cookies. Alright, first of all, we're going to start like you would with any cookie recipe. We've got plant butter here that is better than regular butter only because it's lower in saturated fat. And then to that, we are simply going to cream our sugars. And in this case, we have Splenda brown sugar blend and Splenda cane sugar blend. Now, these are important because they actually have sugar in them, which is essential to making that unctuous classic crunch and caramelization of flavor in a chocolate chip cookie. So we're going to get started on creaming our sugars. Now, while that's working, let's talk flours. In a classic cookie recipe, you have to have all-purpose flour. That gives you cell structure and body and development of gluten. So we can't abandon that. We need some, but we're only using about half of what you normally would use. And to that, we're adding almond flour. Now, almond flour is nice because it adds a light nuttiness and it's lighter than most of the nut flours. And then finally, just 2 tablespoons of coconut flour, a little bit of baking soda, and finally some sea salt, that classic accompaniment to semi-sweet chocolate chips. So we're just going to simply blend those flours together. And before we add that to our mix, we're going to add our eggs and vanilla. Alright, we'll start with our egg. You may want to crank up the speed just a little bit to help get that all mixed up in a nice homogeneous mass. Next, a little bit of vanilla. It's always good to stop the mixer and give it a good scrape. That way we know we've got a nice even mix. What you're looking for here is for the fats and the egg to mix together and become light and fluffy. So what I like to do is add about half. This is helpful because the last thing you want is to turn the mixer on and have a big cloud of flours all over your kitchen. So if you add half and turn the mixer on nice and slow, you won't have that. You won't have a mess to clean up. And you'll get a little bit better mix with your flours and sugar. Again, we're going to start nice and slow. And get everything to mix evenly. Now, before we add the chocolate chips, we're going to scrape down the bowl just to loosen up that last little bit of flour that's being our resistant stragglers at the bottom there. Chocolate chips. We're practically ready for a baking pan. Next on our baking sheet, we're going to start with a 2 tablespoon cookie scoop and just start scooping our cookies. Now it's really important that you get a nice even amount. You want to drag the cookie scoop to create a nice flat spot for the cookie to sit. And this should yield 14 cookies. 14 cookies is what we lovingly call a chef's dozen. All right, there you have it. Perfect chocolate chip cookies. But wait, we can't take them off just yet. We have to let them cool for about 5 minutes. I know it's going to be difficult, but if you try to move them now, they'll probably fall apart. They are great looking though, right? For this and much, much more, check out alifewelleaten.com, and you can find us on all of these social media handles. And there you have it. Here's to good health, good eating, and a good life. A life well eaten. I need milk.